Hit it.
Well, hello there, friends, and welcome back to the Marley Bird YouTube channel and video 2 of the Uptown Chic Knit Christmas Stocking. I'm so excited that you have joined me back here to learn about the heel and the foot and the toe. If you have not gotten started yet on this Christmas stocking, it is not too late. Simply grab that pattern. It's over at marleybird.com. I've put a link in the video description box right down there below. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button, as my kids say. Once you have that pattern, go ahead, grab your materials, and watch video 1 to get started. Then you will be ready for video 2 in no time. Everybody else, if you've completed your homework and you're ready for that German short row heel on the Christmas stocking, let's go ahead and dive in. By this point, your stocking looks a little something like this. If you can see here, I went ahead and opted to keep that center stitch in white, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do duplicate stitch just really randomly with pink. I thought that would be really cool on this stocking. So I am done to where I've done 2 repeats of the chart, and I'm ready to start my heel. Now I'm going to work a German short row heel, and I'm going to work it over 30 stitches. And we're going to work this very easily, and we're going to do this together. Right here at the beginning, I'm going to maintain my color A, and I'm going to work across 15 stitches. Once you have that 15 stitch knit, go ahead and turn your work. You're going to be working in rows, so you do want to look at the wrong side of your work, and this is where we will do our German short row. My yarn is in front. I'm going to go ahead and slip that stitch over to my right hand needle as if to purl. Bring my yarn up and over top of that needle and give it a good pull. See how now it looks as if I have 2 stitches where there was 1? That is the double stitch. So that gives us that German short row, okay? So that takes the place of a wrap and turn. Once you've done that, I need to bring my yarn back to the front because now I will purl across to where I put the next German short row. Once you've reached that stitch, go ahead and turn your work. Bring your yarn forward and then slip the stitch as if to purl over to your right hand needle. Then bring your yarn up and over top of that needle, just like so. So you get that double stitch there. And you now are going to work back across to 1 stitch before your German short row. Once you've reached that stitch just before your double stitch, go ahead and turn your work. Slip the stitch onto your right hand needle. Bring that yarn up and over, give it a nice big tug so that you get that double stitch. Then bring your yarn back between your needles to the front and purl across to 1 stitch before the double stitch on the opposite side. You continue in this manner, working back and forth with the German short rows for the number of times listed in the pattern. Once you've worked the number of German short rows and you have the same number of double stitches on both sides of your heel, you will work back to center, so where your center marker is, and we're going to change colors. And we are going to go back to our color B. And the reason we're doing that is this next round, we will be picking up and working together the double stitches. And this round is going to also signify the first round on our chart. So it's going to make it so that our pattern is uninterrupted. So I have changed to my color B, and I'm going to now work across. And when I come to a double stitch, I'm going to knit the 2 legs essentially of the double stitch together. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to get over to where my double stitch is, and we're going to finish this off. Here's my first double stitch. I'm just going to go in to both of them. Can you see that? Sort of like a knit 2 together. All right. I'm going to essentially do what's a knit 2 together of the double stitch. And I'll do that for each one. Once they're all completed, that's what it looks like. It looks nice and neat. Go ahead and carry on around. You'll see we're picking up right back in our pattern. So this represents round 1 on our chart. We're using the same chart. And then we will pick up the doubles, pick up and knit essentially those double stitches on the other side. Maybe that's not the right terminology to use, but I'm hoping that you guys understand what I'm saying. When we get to the other side, we are going to knit those double stitches just like we did right there. They're going to look a little bit different because they were done on the knit side instead of the purl side, like the last ones. But it's all done the same way. Let me get my stitches up here. And some of you might be thinking to yourself, this isn't exactly what you do when you do German short rows for your socks. Because I don't essentially need the other half of my heel for a stocking, that's why I'm only doing the German short row essentially for this portion of the heel. Here is my double stitch, so I'm just going to make sure I go into both portions of that and knit it together. And again, they do look a little bit different because we made them on the opposite side. But it's the same process. And we'll get back to center. So we are back to our original stitch count of 60 stitches, and we will carry on working the foot, following along with the chart for 1 repeat. All right, so I'm ready to change colors again, but let's take a look at what we have here. You can see I have just this ever so slight little heel that will change the direction of the stocking. So it no longer will go straight down, it'll just have this little tiny curve going this way. Okay, you guys have already worked with this chart for 60 rounds when you did the leg. So I'm not gonna go over it all again for the foot. Just know you're gonna follow that chart for all 30 rounds for the foot of the stocking. Don't forget, this round right here that I just completed counts as round 1 of the chart. So then you'll carry on and you'll have this little repeat right here for the foot of the stocking. Once you've completed the foot, that's when it's time for the toe of the Christmas stocking. So this is what I want you to do. Pause the video right here. Go ahead and finish the foot of your Christmas stocking. Then join me back here and we will work on the toe. It's really not so hard, and by that point, you will be done in no time. You'll be ready to hang this stocking up by the mantle. All right, I'm gonna work on mine. You work on yours. Let's see who gets done first. Whew, I was knitting like the wind. This took me about an hour to complete. I don't know how long it took you, but hey, you're done, you are back, and you're ready for the toe. We have 60 stitches still on our needle at this point, and we still have color A attached to our needle. What I want to do is decrease all of these stitches down so that we get very few stitches that we can pull together like a drawstring and then weave in our tails. Very similar to like the crown of a hat, we're going to decrease down circularly and get down to just a few stitches. We will do that by utilizing the knit two together. Okay, let's pick up our work and get started. Our yarn is still attached, so we don't have to do anything there. And we begin by knitting 4. So I've already knit 1, so it held that stitch marker in place. So 2, 3, 4, and now I'm going to knit 2 together. And we're going to repeat that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then knit 2 together. Now we're going to work this way all the way around, and then the following round we will work even, and then we'll decrease around again. What's going to happen here is the stitches are going to become too snug on our needle to keep them working like this. So rather than switching to double pointed needles, which you could do, and I love, so if you want to do that, you absolutely can. But in the interest of making it so that you only need 1 pair of needles for this entire your stocking, I'm going to show you how you can finish the toe with the magic loop. So as I'm talking, I don't want to lose count here. I'm knitting 4 and then knitting 2 together, and I'm doing this all the way around. Once you finish with your last knit 2 together, you will go ahead, slip your marker, and then knit those stitches all the way around. You should have 50 stitches. At this point, the stitches are still comfortable around my needle, so I'm not going to worry about any sort of magic loop or finagling my circular needle yet. But after the next decrease round, I might have to do that. So I want to show you how to do that. If you do not want to switch to double points, you want to keep everything on one pair of needles. Okay, so I'm at the end of my round. This round, I will slip my marker, and this time I will knit 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then knit 2 together. One, 2, 3, knit 2 together. At the end of this round, we now have 40 stitches. So as you're knitting around, you will not work any decreases. We're simply just going to knit all these stitches. Okay, on this next round, our stitches become a little bit too snug for the 16-inch circular needle. But don't worry, we can still manage to work these decreases with this needle. We want to go ahead and you will work your knit 2 and then your knit 2 together. And then as you are pushing the stitches over here onto the right needle, kind of bend it and give yourself like a break essentially in your work, okay? So we have all these stitches, we're gonna kind of keep that little break there. And I'm gonna continue on, so 1, 2, and then work my knit 2 together. And I can do this break a little bit more. I could push it and do it again. 1, 2, knit 2 together. Can you see how this works? I'm just making it so that way the stitches still can come back up here and allow me to work with them with just this circular needle, so I don't have to transfer over 2 double points if I don't want to. As you keep working around, you keep finagling it, you keep just kind of pushing it. At some point you might have to do the same thing over here, okay? Not too much though, I usually don't have to do it over there. It's usually over here that I have to do that. And slip my marker, maybe, and I will just knit 1 full round. Okay, you can see they're very snug around my 16-inch, but as I'm knitting around this round, I will do the same thing, kind of give myself a little bit of like wiggle room, like a bend in my work. So you can see how this is similar to magic loop. I mean, in essence, it is working like a magic loop, although we don't have the super long cord on either side. We are making it work with our 16-inch, and we just have to constantly adjust where our, like essentially the break point is for us to pull the cord out. Alrighty, so I'm coming up to my marker, which means I have my next decrease round. So I slip my marker, I knit 1, and then I knit 2 together. Now on this round, it's getting even more snug, so I will need to be very aware of these break points, and it might be that I have them on both sides for sure this time. You see what I mean? Okay, can you see that? All right. So, I mean, I can make this work though. If you are comfortable with double points and you have double points around, great, use those. But I wanted to just make sure you had another option for how to do this without double points if you wanted to. other two together. All right, so I'm not done yet, obviously. This is a good example. I'm just pulling it through, getting those on. I can go like this, or I could pull some of the stitches on. That's what I prefer. I prefer to have a couple stitches on the needle versus on the cord. I prefer to have it like that, okay? Am I on a knit two together? Still working them around, just making it so that my needles work for me. You guys see how this works? I mean, I think you looking at it is probably the best way for me to quote unquote explain it, okay? I just kind of maneuver the cord so that way it's in a position that I can work with these needles, okay? I'm on my last knit two together here. Obviously you can see that it's really small now, but I can make this work just by doing what we've been doing. It's a little fussy, but hey, whatever gets the job done. Now I have one round of just knitting, and then I have one more final round of just knit two togethers. That was my last final just plain knit round, and now I've got one final round of just decreasing 2 stitches together all the way around. So it's knit two together all the way around. Last 2. And then we're going to cut the yarn and pull it together like a drawstring. All right, so I can remove my marker. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that just like so. I'm gonna cut my yarn, leave a nice long tail just like I've been doing all along. Grab that tapestry needle that you will be using to weave in all of those tails. But, you know, hey, if you're doing this like right before the holidays and you want to wait till after the holidays to weave in those tails before you store it away, you have my permission. Okay, so you thread your tail onto your tapestry needle and you're going to go into each one of these stitches as if to knit. Okay, so we need to go into each one as if to knit and take it off. So each one as if to knit, take it off, and then pull that string through. Okay. Let me get to the other side here. And look, we did all of this with one pair of needles. How great is that? Okay, as if to knit, take them off. And this is like one of those finishes that I feel like is just magical, because when you pull this together like a drawstring, it has the best little finish. All right, so there is the top of my toe or the bottom of my stocking, however you want to think of it. And when I just pull this string, I'm going to pull it nice and snug. Look at that. It gives this nice little beautiful drawstring pull together. It's just a beautiful little stitch. So if you wanted to, you can take this and you can go around this one more time just to secure the drawstring a bit. And then you really want to make sure that you secure this tail to the inside, especially if you're going to fill this stocking with a lot of weight. So if you're going to like put an orange at the bottom of it, like my mom used to love having oranges at the bottom of her stocking. You definitely want to make sure that you have something holding that together nice and close. So poke your tapestry needle through the center hole to the inside and make sure you do weave in that end nice and securely. But look how beautiful that is right there at the center. And I'm not going to tuck it in right now. Let's take a look at what the finished piece is. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to show you what this whole thing looks like. Oh my gosh, isn't this beautiful? It's exactly what I wanted in a stocking. It's the perfect decrease at the toe. It's this nice gentle curve at the heel portion, so it's not like this huge massive heel, and it just gives the subtle shifting of the direction of the knitting. We have a beautiful stitch pattern. I love that we have a multiple of 3. That really just pleases me so much. And then I love the texture up here at the top. Now, as far as hanging this, you can create an I cord, you can create a braided cord, and then just attach it right here where we started with our beginning chains, and you can attach it there and just hang it to your mantle, to your stairs, to whatever it is you want to add it to. But isn't this just the greatest stocking? It is so awesome. It worked up very fast because I held 2 strands of worsted weight yarn together throughout the entire piece. So even if you're going to start this like a day before Christmas, you absolutely could get this done in one day without any problem. Okay, everybody, that is the Uptown Chic Christmas stocking. I hope you love it as much as I do. It is the perfect stocking with some stranded knitting, some seed stitch, a German short row heel, a nice, beautiful finish of the toe, and I mean, I just could not be more pleased with this. I hope you love your Uptown Chic stocking as well. If you make one, please share with me on social media. Use #MarleyBird so I can see your stocking and smash your like button. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please go ahead and hit subscribe to the Marley Bird YouTube channel and click that notification bell so you are notified whenever I go live or release a new video to help you become a better knitter or crocheter. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.